It's happening again, yeah. Can I fix it before we start?
Hello, viewers from all around the world. This is the Melting Pot, Canada's first call-in live radio talk show for immigrants. I am your host, Izo. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, wherever you're tuning in from, you're welcome, you're welcome, and you're welcome to the show. The Melting Pot is a show for immigrants by immigrants. On this show, we delve deep, we discuss cultural issues, educational issues, moral issues, emotional issues, every issue that touches the life of an immigrant. On the show, we strive to educate, we strive to entertain, and we strive to inspire. On today's show, I am not alone. I am reaching you from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and I have a co host. You will like her face and her smile. And she's reaching you from all the way Regina in Saskatchewan. Her name is Jess, and she is beautiful. Hi, Jess.
Hi, Izo. Thank you. All the time, my head is
You
swelling
know,
up.
when you came on the screen, something came to my head. All things
Yeah?
bright and beautiful, all
All things
creatures
right
great and
and
small.
beautiful. We are projecting the weather. It's summer, it's
I can see
bright, it's
that. I can
light,
see that.
it's airy. Everything is bright and beautiful. So we just
Oh
try
yeah,
to
you
project
look
this
bright
as
and
much as we're
beautiful.
going.
How was your week?
Ugh, Izo. Well, my week was good though. It was uneventful, but it was good. It's just there. It's regular work. How was yours, Izo?
Oh, mine was good. It was good. I was very busy throughout the week, and I don't know about you, but did you hear the buzz that was everywhere in Saskatchewan?
Yes, yes,
Did you hear it?
yes.
It was
I caught that
everywhere. It
buzz.
was the
I caught it.
conversation across various platforms.
It's on everybody's mouth.
Yeah.
I saw that news, and I saw it online. And I was surprised at all the comments. The various comments people were just giving. I was really surprised. I was
Oh
really
my
surprised.
gosh. Yeah, I can imagine. So, viewers from wherever you're tuning in from, a few days ago, the government of Saskatchewan released a policy regarding the involvement of parents in matters concerning their children's sex education and choice of pronoun. Evidently, this choice of pronoun is fundamental to one's identity and should not be a matter to be handled with levity. The policy itself has generated a lot of buzz online and offline. There are those against that policy and those for that policy. We want to hear from you, those in Saskatchewan. Call us and tell us what your view are. Our phone numbers are on the screen, and alternatively, you can share your thoughts on our social media handles. They are also on the screen. Let's have this conversation. I want to hear what do you think? All those things you've been typing and sending to your friends. Let us hear your thoughts. Now, on today's show, we have a topic. Oh, this was just something that was everywhere, so we had to do something about it. But on today's show, the title of our topic today is Money Palaver Matters Arising. And we will delve into the crucial realm of financial education for immigrants and aim to shed light on the potential money traps that newcomers should be wary upon arrival and explore the diverse opportunities available in their homeland. We will also address common misconceptions surrounding credit, debit, and overall financial management, and lots
Oh.
more. There's a lot we'll be talking about today. And it will not just be me and Iches. We have a professional. You're laughing, yeah. I'm almost sure some of
Because
our
we're all
viewers are
in the
like,
same boat to learn today. We're all in the
so
boat to learn today.
yeah. So we have a professional in the house that will be guiding this conversation. And when we come back from our short break, you will meet her. So don't go anywhere. Stay put where you are. Don't touch that dial. We will be right back. Welcome back. So before we went on our short break, I was saying we had a professional that is going to help us really dissect today's topic, which is money palaver. And our professional and our guest speaker is no other person but Lara Olubemi. She is, oh, there she is, wonderful woman. She is a
Hello.
financial literacy enthusiast and a licensed financial advisor across several provinces in Canada, who is passionate about helping immigrants and expatriates navigate the complex financial terrain to wealth accumulation so that they can transition into a well deserved lifestyle. So join me in welcoming her. Lara, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Isa. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're
Thank
welcome. You're
you.
welcome.
Cheers.
I'm
Welcome,
almost
welcome.
tempted to, now that I'm seeing you and seeing in chess, I'm almost tempted to do this. So watch me.
What? Let's see, let's see. I
Yeah,
can't
let's
see
join
you.
the fellowship of the glass.
Oh,
Yes. Ah,
I
as I
was
look me out now,
wondering.
everybody's wearing glasses. I
No,
I kept mine to the side because I was like, okay, at least for this show, let me not wear glasses. But
You
everybody is
wanted to
wearing
do
glasses,
without
so I
it.
might as well wear my own.
Join the glass gang.
Let's join the glass gang. You're welcome, ma. You're welcome back to the show. So
Thank you
I'm
so
just
very
going to
much.
dive right in. The
Yeah.
lines are open, viewers, so you can call in and either you give your opinion concerning the first thing we talked about, or you have a question for our guest. But I'm going to start shooting the questions right away. So I hope I can call you Lara, or would
Oh,
you
sure.
prefer I call
Laura
you?
is
Okay,
fine.
good. So
Laura is fine.
Lara, I want to ask you, for our viewers just tuning in, or those who watch this video or will watch it later on across the world, because believe it or not, someone has reached me all the way from UK. So we are being aired even in the UK. Tell us, why do
Awesome.
you think they should stay and watch this video? What makes you think? Why should you be the one we are asking money advice from?
Okay. Thank you again for having me. So, for anyone who is watching, who will watch at any other time, I would say that if you do watch this video and you stay on the show, you're going to become financially smarter. You're going to gain financial insight. You're going to gain education into how to manage your finances, especially in Canada, right? But I mean, you can borrow the knowledge for some other parts, especially in the developed countries. This will help you know how to navigate the financial plan because money actually works differently in the developed countries, a bit differently, not the same way it works in developing countries. So you need to get that information. You're going to learn proven strategies that work, that will help you save on taxes, that will help you save money, grow wealth, and not just grow wealth, also retain wealth, because it's not all about how much money you're going to make, but how much of it you're able to retain for yourself. So you're going to be learning those proven strategies that would help you be financially successful in the developed world.
Wonderful. So viewers, you are going to learn a lot um, by the time this show is over. And Jess, do you have a question for our guest?
Yes, yes, I do have a question. Um, First off, Lara, as a new immigrant, my first question is, as an immigrant, what do you say are some of the things that we need to unlearn about money first?
So, welcome to Canada. Welcome to the developed world where money is not like the way you know it from way back. So, it's good that we know that there's so many things we need to unlearn, right? So, the first one will be that money is just a medium of exchange. It's a lot more than that. Money is not just a medium of exchange, it's actually a measure of the value of your time. And time itself is a currency of life. This is why so many people attribute what you're worth monetarily to the value of your life. From wherever, home countries where immigrants are coming from, many people are not very particular about their finances. They handle it with, I would say, levity, right?
Yeah.
But in this climb, you need to be deliberate about your finances. You need to have a plan. You need to have a strategy. Financial planning is key. So you need to forget all that. You can't be casual about money here. That's the thing. That's one thing you need to unlearn. You need to forget it. You have to be deliberate about money. You need to have a plan. Budgeting is key. Many people haven't bothered so much about budgeting. Here, you need to handle your finances like a business, your personal finance like a business. You need to have a budget. You need to know at what point you're going to break even. What do you need? How are you going to get what you need? And all of that. If not, you're going to run into serious trouble. And it's very important to start to do this as soon as you land or even before you land. If not, you find out that in a year or two, you're stuck in a rut because you have no direction. You have no direction. Another thing that we need to unlearn about money is wanting to do everything with your own money. Where we're coming from, it's like you spend your own money. It doesn't work like that here. Here, you need to leverage on other people's money, else you're going to burn out because the earning power where you're coming from is different from the earning power here. The cost of living where you're coming from is different from the cost of living here. So it's very important that you learn how to leverage on other people's money to be able to be financially successful.
Oh,
Wonderful.
wow.
That's it's a good thing you mentioned other people's money because it just ties into my next question. So, what are the misconceptions about credit and debit that immigrants often encounter? And what's really, because let me use myself as an example. Um, in Nigeria, when you hear the term credit, your mind goes to a totally different definition. But when you come here in
Like you're
Canada,
owing someone. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. And then when you come here in Canada and you hear them use that term credit, the definition is completely different. So I want you to start off with defining what credit is and what debit is, and then what are the misconceptions.
Okay, so I'll use Nigeria as an example, right? Credit is like a sum of money that you receive into your account, like a payment, right? Or an inflow. Different terminologies. Like in the bank, they say inflow, money coming in is credit, while money going out is debit. Simply put, coming in is credit, going out is debit, right? Now, when you cross over to this part of the world, a credit is a payment or a purchase that you have that is prepaid by someone else, which you haven't paid for. So you can access an item, you can access a service, you can access a product via credit. That means that it's been paid for, but not by you.
Mhm.
So that's a credit. and you find out that in the bank you could have a credit line. That means there's an approved sum that you can access that is not your money, but you can withdraw it and make use of it with a promise or an understanding or a contract that you're going to return that money either over a period of time or lump sum at some time at a certain interest rate. So that is credit here. Debit is still debit, right? Debit is money that goes out of your account. But debt now is what you're owing that you need to pay. So if, for instance, you have maybe a credit line of $15,000 and you have only drawn maybe 3,000, right? So you're actually owing or you are in debt of 3,000. So those are the definitions.
Okay.
So credit here is some like some service that you can access, something you can have that you haven't paid for with your money, but you're going to pay eventually. It's not influencing your account, no. While credit in Nigeria is money that is already yours, it's hitting your account. So that's the difference.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to use another practical example. So when immigrants come into act, like I remember when I came into Canada, this is still on that credit and debit conversation. I remember when I came into Canada and went to one of the banks, we were given a card and immediately we were told that we had 2,000 on that card. And we were very happy because like, we're just landing and then there's money. And so the temptation to just throw your hands up in the air, say, yay, money, and go start spending on it's easy to tap the card. I'll tell you, it's the sweetest feeling to just buy something and then tap your card and you're out the door. So yeah. So what's your advice when those kind of offers are given? How do you become careful not to affect your credit score in an adverse way, and also be able to pay back? Because I know that normally with these cards, credit cards, I mean, there's a minimum payment that is required.
Payment, yeah.
So do you advise that people should just be spending and then paying that minimum $10 or $30 that they say that is going to be due in so and so time? Or do you subscribe to people using this card and paying the exact amount or even above what you had spent? What would be your advice on that?
Okay, so on this matter, right? Let's take it from the issue of credit score, because for everyone in Canada or in this kind of society, your credit score is super important. And the way to grow or have a credit score is when you access a credit card. That's the first thing that can help you, because you need to prove that you can be responsible with other people's money. You need to prove that you're credit worthy, you've got credibility. And that is why a bank will start out by giving you a card. As a new immigrant, you typically get maybe $1,000 or $2,000 limit, depending on the card. Some other ones could do a lot more, but at least baseline, right? So when you get this card, you're expected to spend it and then return whatever you have spent within a certain period of time. Now, this is what helps you to build your credit score, and this is what impacts your credit score, whether negatively or positively. Now, for credit scores, your credit score that is lower than 660, it's not good. It's a bad one. So you want to make sure that you're doing 660 and above. 660 to about 724 will be good. 725 to about 759 will be very good, and then up to 760 up will be excellent. Credit score usually ranges between 300 to 900 anyway. So now when you get your card, one thing you need to learn in this part of the world, we talked about things that we're supposed to unlearn, but one thing you need to learn here is financial discipline. Please stop impulsive buying. Do not buy anything because the thing is calling your village name. That nobody, yes, you go to the stores and some things are calling your name that nobody else knows. Like you are feeling it. I practically celebrate myself when I'm able to walk out of a store and resist a temptation. And I tell myself, yes, Lara, you're doing well. Just keep going. You're almost at the door. Yes.
Yeah.
Because you see some things and it's as if you don't live with this thing, the world is going to end. But it's a lie.
You, I think you'll
And
be fine.
honestly,
I want to.
don't be
Mhm.
tempted. Okay, don't be tempted to say, oh, after all, I can return it. I do that
Yeah.
at times. I tell myself, I'm sure when I get home, I'll have, I'll be super return. It's a lie. Oh. Honestly, you might even want to
No,
return it, but before you know it, it's 2 weeks, it's 1 month, and you haven't been that week. And then you eventually keep it. So you need to learn to discipline yourself. Do not do impulsive buying. Ask yourself, do I really need this? Is it important? Is it urgent? So whatever is not in that category, just do it. Because with that card, even when you don't go out with your card, we set them up on our phones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
because at times I leave my card
yeah,
behind, but hey, I have my phone. So because
yeah.
you see the card that you have, the safe thing to do is do not draw down, you know, don't max out your limit. Bottom line. The best
Yeah.
thing is to
I wanted
do
to
a
ask.
maximum of,
Mhm.
okay.
I
Go
wanted to
ahead. You
ask,
can
yeah,
answer.
when you get your
Yeah.
cards, like especially this credit score points you were talking about, your credit score, your
Yes.
credit score points, I see it on my phone app and I see those numbers. What does one have to do to be able to maintain this number? Because I personally do not know how those numbers count. I know it's above that 660 you mentioned. I know I've seen it sometimes, it goes between fair and it goes between good and then it goes up. Sometimes it goes up and it comes down. And I'm asking myself, did my spending change? Is it that I didn't return the money on time? Did I not put the like? I'm wondering, like, why is it? Because I know what my limit is, right? And I
Yeah.
so like, how do you like monitor to know when
Okay.
or at what point do you need to monitor your credit score? Like, what do you do to ensure that your point doesn't just go up, down, and flying?
Okay. So the smart thing to do is to spend, if possible, not more than 30% of what you have on your card. Do less
Oh,
than 50% bottom line. Because there's what is called the ratio, right? Utilization ratio. So don't use up,
mhm.
you have a limit of 2,000 on your card. Don't do 1,008. No. This is why it's also advantageous to have more than one card. Some people say, "Oh, I have too many cards. I don't need this. I want." You're shooting yourself in the foot because you're going to reduce your
Mm,
utilization ratio. If you have 2, 3 cards, excellent, so that your cumulative ratio is more, right? If your 3 cards are giving you 5,000, and then your target is, I don't want to exceed 30%, so that I can have an excellent score, then you have a ratio of like 1,005. Versus if I had just one card that's giving me 2,000, then my ratio is
mm,
lower. So one of the traps to avoid as a
mm.
new immigrant is, please do not max out your credit card limit. It's not safe. It's not wise anyway. It's not
Mm,
like it's not allowed, but it's not wise. And then,
it's not right.
Iso, you were asking about, oh, should I pay everything on the card or just the
Yeah.
minimum? Please, as much as possible, clear your bills.
Pay
Because
everything
yes, you
back.
can do the minimum. Yes, you can do the minimum, right? You can do the minimum and you will be fine, but not so fine because you're going to pay the interest on the rest, right? So, and it's going to affect your score anyway because you still
Mm,
have more and then it's going to reduce. So what to do if you are funded yourself is, if you go to the stores or whatever, use your card same day before you forget. When you get back home, transfer the money back,
mm.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that
It's
way you
easier said
don't
than done.
forget.
No, it's easier said
I
than
know,
done.
I know. We all
It's easier said
struggle,
than
right? But
done.
the funny thing is, it's a project. It's a project. Be accountable to yourself. You need to do a lot of documentation. If you can, create spreadsheets for yourself. Apps help anyway. Even your bank shows you your spending pattern, your bank apps and all of that. So maybe you want to set an alarm or something on your phone. You can do it twice a week or once a week and just say,
Mm.
maybe my money matters, and that time you track all of these things,
You just
attend
track
to it. If not,
everything.
honestly, you get carried away, and before you know it, it's a month or 6 weeks, and some things have gone bad,
Well,
and
before
then
we
you
get
start
carried away,
rolling
I
other
just wanted
things.
to ask. I,
Yeah.
I just wanted to come back to something you had mentioned earlier. You were saying that it was actually advisable to have more than one card,
Yes,
right?
please.
So as an immigrant, is it advisable to open multiple accounts and get all these cards and just find a way to manage yourself around so you can spend 30% of all cards? So if you have say two cards, you're looking at doing 30% on these two cards, right? So is that your
Yes.
advice that it's advisable to get more cards and do
It's
at least minimum?
certainly it's advisable to have at least two, not one. It's advisable
Mm,
to have at least two. Yes, so you can get from, if you want, two different banks, right? In your first year anyway, most banks are offering you free banking. Some banks will offer you that for 2 years. So do your research,
yeah.
find out which bank you want to go for, get the cards,
Hmm.
even find out the credit limit. That might even help you take a decision on which bank you want to go for. If you're giving me 2,000,
Exactly.
I'd rather go with you than the
Mm,
bank who
Exactly.
wants to give me a
That
thousand. Then
1,000.
aside the ones from the banks, you have the ones from the stores. Like Walmart will give you a
yes.
credit
Yeah.
card. If
Yeah.
you, yeah,
Yeah.
so you
Yes.
can,
All those cards,
pull all
SIM
of those.
cards, right?
Yes, exactly. Just bring
So we
everything
need to get those
together and
cards
then
too.
sure, why not? I mean, if you shop there anyway, why not?
Yeah. Yeah,
Why
because
not?
they
Okay.
have
And
the
I'm
then
that.
the stores. There's the SIM card.
aside the fact
There's
that
the
it's a
Walmart
credit card,
card.
some of them you earn points that
Right.
Yeah,
you
those
That's
get
true.
point ones
cash
are the
back.
ones I'm aware.
Hello, who doesn't want $3?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how little it adds up. So
Okay. So
just
there's
maximize
something
all the
that,
opportunities.
yeah, there's something that people say. Now, you are the
Mm,
financial advisor, so I'm going
yeah.
to ask you. Some people say in paying, you said pay back. Some people say in paying back, don't pay back immediately. Wait for like
Yes.
maybe 2 weeks that
2 days or one
or
week.
2 days.
Mm-hmm.
Had varying opinions on this. So is that the case, or that's just people talking? Is that what is obtainable in the financial world? If you wait 2 weeks and pay, you have a better footing than if you pay immediately after you get back from the grocery store or wherever you went to use the card.
That's just people talking.
Okay.
So long as you pay before the due date,
Yeah.
right? The reason why I said same day is so you do not forget. It's of no significance, of no consequence, right?
Okay.
So
Thank you.
pay before
Really?
the due date. That's the thing.
Okay, so
Pay
like
before the
we
due date.
talked
Okay.
about money traps, so we've talked about this is one trap. So I really appreciate the fact that you have taken out time to explain how
Yeah.
to make that whole credit card system work to our benefits. So from your experience, what other money traps are there aside a misunderstanding of how to use credit cards?
The the bigger money trap is taking loans to buy
Mm,
liabilities.
mm,
So when people land Canada, I'm amazed that you see people who do not have a steady source of income, or not steady. I mean, they must probably have a job, but maybe not the kind
Yeah.
of job they really want.
mhm,
And then you're taking a loan to buy some fancy car. Hello,
mm.
But like in
this
Saskatoon here, it's the metro system is not optimal. Let me use that term. So
yes,
are you saying they should not buy a car, or they shouldn't buy a fancy car? And then if it's that, if
exactly.
the
Or they
emphasis
shouldn't
is
take
on
a
the
loan to
fancy
get
car,
it.
what would be, because
So,
going from point A to point B here
on
without a
B.
car, especially in the winter months, is it's
Oh,
something else.
of course.
So what would you
I understand
advise?
that. Yeah, I understand that very much. The problem is taking a loan to buy a fancy car, right? What I mean is you're buying something that is like above your means. You don't have the
Mm,
means to 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 start your, it's like living above your means. It doesn't make sense financially. You're going to run into trouble down the line. You're new, you're still trying to find you haven't, your faith and all of that. And then the next thing, see, if you took a loan to for an investment or to get an asset, That's smart, right? But not for a liability. Even if it's not a fancy car, honestly, if you can try, because a car is a liability. The moment you drive it out from where you drove it, it's depreciated.
It's
That's
If you
true.
depreciated.
can,
That's true. That's
don't
true.
if you can avoid it, because you're going to pay interest on this loan anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So anything that is a liability, you want to be careful about taking loans to do it, especially when you are new. Because, like I
Mm.
said, handle your personal finance like a business. You're here to break even. You're here to break even. So you're still in debit, whatever you're spending. So you want to be very careful about that. Because when you
Mm.
come in, there, I mean, all kinds of loans. All you need to do is just maybe do a search or visit, and then they start to call you and they're following up and they're offering you. In fact, some of them can tell you you don't need a job. They just want to be sure you're a PR, and you will get the loan. And yes, you
That's
will,
true.
but you need to be careful because these are traps. People get into these things, and for 2 3 years, they're not out of it.
Mm.
They just keep wallowing in. Yes, they just keep wallowing in it.
I do.
So if you're going to, if you must take a loan, it should be that you're using it for to get an asset, or maybe like a study loan or something, because that is an investment that you're going to recoup. Because when you finish that program, you're going to possibly get a better job that will pay for that. And of course, student loans, government, some are free, some have minimal interest rates. So that's a different thing. So that's one huge trap that
Mm.
new immigrants
Immigrants
need to avoid.
should try and
Yes,
avoid.
of course. Another thing also is the issue of accommodation.
Okay.
Please take a place that you can afford to pay comfortably for a reasonable period of time.
Hmm.
One thing that it's not exactly financial, but then impacts our finances greatly is the pressure we put on ourselves. You have packed your bags from wherever, uprooted your life, and now you're in Canada. This is home now. You have forever, so to say, or
I
in the
like
minimum, you
that.
have decades to live here. Where are you running to? What's the
Where are
rush? Who
you
are you in a
rushing off
race
to?
against? Take it easy on yourself. Stop putting yourself under unnecessary pressure. It's your life. You're not in a competition with anybody. So I mean, I've seen people wanting to come in and oh, I want a 3 bed. I want it. It's fine. We all know the kind of houses and the kind of space we had from where we're coming from, but the value there and the value here, they're not the same.
The treat the same.
You pay for a year there and then you can rest. This is every 30 days, and before you know it, it's not. So you want to
Cha-ching.
take something that you can pay for conveniently for. Like, please, when you come in, if possible, first, if you can, live below your means, and then feel the whole environment, and then you can ease gradually into something that is better, as against trying to start all high, and then before you know it, you're in trouble and you're breathing. In fact, you can't even breathe, and we're praying, let immigrants breathe. How do we say it to them? Yeah, so
Yeah, yeah, so true.
you want to
Okay, so if you're just
so,
tuning in, this is the melting pot, and our topic for today is money palaver, matters arising. Our numbers are on the screen, and we have a guest speaker with us today that is a financial advisor. Please call in with your comments and questions. And then before this our topic, we also talked about the buzz in Saskatchewan regarding the sex education and parental consent. So you can also call in. Our numbers are on the screen and your opinion. If you don't want to call in, you can also drop your comment. We have our various social media handles. It's on the screen. We would like to hear from you. We want to know what your thoughts are. So I'm going to come back to you because there was something you mentioned. As a person, I like things being really specific. So I'm going to give you a scenario so that you can help us
right.
with your knowledge, advise us better. So you said several times, live within your means. Don't overstretch yourself. You might be living in a certain kind of house or a certain lifestyle before you came here. Start small and grow from there. So for a family that has three kids or four kids, well, most people have three kids. The husband earns 2,000 a month. The wife earns maybe 1,500 a month. That puts it at 3,500 that comes into the house monthly. What level of rentage, or what should be the bar that will be comfortable to pay as your rent,
For
so that
rent.
you don't overshoot
So you don't
and
overstretch
still have,
yourself for other
yes,
bills. Yeah.
yeah. So we have 3,500 as the income that comes into the home monthly.
Household. Oh wow.
My advice would be your rent should not exceed 30% of your monthly income.
Hmm.
30%
20
of
to
your monthly income.
25, yes.
Right.
20 to 25 will be amazing, but that may not be feasible, especially for a low income earner, because I mean there's a standard for the for houses. You're
Mm-hmm.
not likely to get even a one bed for but I mean, so for you'll find out that for low income earners, they might need to pay a higher percentage of their income on rent. They might even pay as high as 50 at times, depending on
Mm-hmm.
how low the income is.
On just rent.
But yes, on just rent.
50% of the
She talked
monthly
about a
income.
fam.
Yeah.
Yes, she,
Oh
she
yeah.
talked about
Mm-hmm.
a family. If a family
Of
is making 3-5, and they have a family of maybe
family of
you
five.
said
Three
three kids,
children.
right? That's
Three
family of
kids,
Three
yes.
five.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3 kids, yes. They'll be fortunate to get a 2 bedroom house.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
that's
that will
true.
come to yeah, and that will come to about 1.5 ish.
Oh, they're about to.
They get a
Yeah.
basement maybe a little lower. Now add utilities or whatever. Depends on
I
what.
know.
So that's
Okay.
almost, I mean, 1.5 from 1,750 is half of 3.5. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I know.
So that's why I
Oh,
said if the
that's just
income is
brilliant.
really low, then they're going to
Yeah.
be paying a higher percentage. But assuming the same family was earning 6,000 put together,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
and they were in a one
Okay.
five house, that would be 25% on rent.
Ah.
This is
That,
where
that
income
makes a lot
stream
of sense.
matters. Yes,
Yeah.
that's why
Mm.
you need to sit down and ask yourself.
Now
You need
we
to have a
add.
budget.
Yeah.
What do I need to
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
survive? How much do I need? Like the minimum. Then add a little, maybe it's a little luxury and all that.
A
So
little
what
miscellaneous.
this
I
is
put it as
exactly
miscellaneous on my
how
list.
much how much do we need as a family? All right. How much are we making right now?
Mm-hmm.
What is the shortfall? How much do we need to make to live the lifestyle we want to live? And then you now start to add savings. So you now know whether you need to have a one side hustle, two, three, or 10 side hustles.
Multiple side
Because you
hustles. So
Mm-hmm.
must
you're
create
able to
income.
meet it.
Yes. So I personally do not believe in I can't afford it. That's my philosophy in life. I don't believe in I can't afford it. If I need something, I sit down and I strategize. How can I afford it?
Okay, so
You
I'm
like you
going to
create like a
take you
long
up.
term plan or a short term plan. Sorry.
It depends.
Sorry, Lara, I'm going to chime in because you said something about side hustle. So I'm going to take that into my next question. So a lot of
Okay.
immigrants have generated other streams of income through side
Mhm.
hustle, but there's the
Yeah.
fear of being caught by the government for earning what is termed tax-free money. So is the government after anyone who has a side hustle, and what can be done to fix this?
I would say the government will be after anyone who is evading taxes. Let's
Okay.
not say the government will be after anyone who has. The government is not against your side hustle.
Yeah.
So
But
you're
if they're evading
Canadian,
taxes.
exactly. You're resident in Canada.
Mhm.
You're expected to be a responsible citizen. You're expected to tax your world income, not just the
Mhm.
income you make in Canada. So if you're in Canada, you're making money in Nigeria. Canadian government
Mhm.
expects you to tax your money. They're not asking you to pay the tax in Canada anyway. Pay your taxes even in Nigeria and have
Mhm.
evidence that you're doing that, right? So whatever you have as your source of income, it is earned money. You're supposed to tax it. And we know that that's why we're saying they are scared of being caught. If I mean, we know the truth. You're supposed to tax your income because, well, if you call whether we call it a side hustle or it's the business, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's either you have multiple jobs as an employee, or you have a job
Mm-hmm.
and a business, or you have multiple businesses. Whatever, you are supposed to pay your taxes. Now, the smart thing to do, which I don't know why people are afraid of doing it, because it's actually in your favor to have a side hustle and to
Mm-hmm.
tax it. It actually brings down your overall expense. So
Really?
in this part of the world, one of the yes, I'm going to explain that in a bit. One of the biggest bills you're going to pay in this part of the world, in fact, about the biggest, they're taxes.
Mm.
Yeah.
That is why
True.
if you care to if you care to document your expenses and handle your finance like a project, at the end of the year, you see how much you made and how much has gone into taxes, especially as an employee. Aside all your shopping and the taxes you're paying in the stores and all of that, you would
Mm-hmm.
realize that the biggest bill that you have paid, the biggest entity that has taken your money, is that word,
The
taxes.
taxes. Mm.
Now, when you register your side hustle, the smart thing to do is register it as a home based business. And anyway, your side hustle is
Okay.
either from your car or from your house or from your garage
Mm-hmm.
or whatever.
Mm.
Even if it's a service, you're doing it from your house. So just register it, right? So you're going to pay taxes as a business person. Automatically, you're going to be backing out 70% of your expenses
Wow.
before you tax the rest.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
let's say you're a food vendor, you cook food or you sell whatever, and it's
Mm-hmm.
home-based business. You can employ your kids in that
Are
business
you
and you pay
serious?
them salary. Yep,
Yeah.
and you pay them
Yeah.
salaries. Yes, and you pay. Yeah, your business can have a staff, and you can
Yes.
employ. Yeah, so you back out your rent. It's home-based business. That's your
Mm-hmm.
location.
Mm-hmm.
You back out utilities because you're doing the business there.
Yeah.
You back out your trip. You travel from Regina to Calgary. You back that out. Procurement trip.
Mm.
Wow.
Oh
Amazing.
wow. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Oh, viewers, I hope you are
cut
taking
that
this down. This
ha.
is this
I
is
like
just
this
amazing.
is like gems.
Ha.
Like these are like
Even
gems.
for the, because you're going to Walmart, even if you're shopping for the family and you whatever, you're shopping for the business.
Business.
So
Wow.
that's why I said almost all of. So now let's say you earn money as an employee, and of course you do not have control over that. They take their tax even before it comes to to you, right? You're only hoping maybe
Yeah.
you're going to get tax credit depending on your bracket. So, but as a business person, your side hustle now, every other expense that you incur, even your phone bills, because you're using that to run the business as
To the
well. So
business.
it's just that it's some work, but hello, it's doable. Just document all of these things, keep your receipts and all. So you back all of that. So assuming your side hustle is giving you maybe 50,000 or whatever thousand in a year, and then you back out all of this. So what you're actually even going to pay at the end of the day as tax on that business.
Mm-hmm.
It's really-
Oh
Wow.
wow.
That's a
And you're in the
fantastic.
good books of the you're in,
Oh,
You're the good
yeah.
books
you're
I
of
on
the
the right
just
government.
side of the
Yeah.
law.
Oh wow.
Inches, do you have a question for our guest?
I
Yeah. Um So you know how as most of us as immigrants we come and we consider like debt, those of us coming from developing countries, we consider debt as a sign of like financial irresponsibility, you know. But however, when we find yourself in this society, you find that debt is a vital component. How are we as immigrants, able to reconcile this new reality of our life, knowing that where you're coming from, debt is considered financial irresponsibility, and then you find yourself in a new system that looks at debt as a vital component of building, like I think you mentioned something like credit score earlier. So, what are the steps that one needs to take, to reconcile or imbibe this new reality?
so majority of immigrants struggle with that. Maybe when they're new, or because it's actually it's just a new way of life that we're not used to. But the truth is, it's just the opposite of where we're coming from. While it is seen as irresponsibility in developing countries, debt in developing countries is actually financial responsibility. It shows that you're
Really?
credible. It shows that you can, yeah, it's financial
Oh yeah.
responsibility. I mean, you're being responsible financially. You can handle money. You can handle other people's money. You can be trusted with what is not yours, and you can return it as at when due. And
Amazing.
it yes, it's like they give you a little, you show that you're trustworthy with it, and then much more is given onto you. That's how you
Okay.
increase your credit limit anyway.
Oh.
Because if you haven't you're not trustworthy, you can't handle a little, who is going to give you more? Now we need to one thing we need to know to help us is that the cost of living where we're coming from is totally different from the cost of living here, right? So because the cost of living is so high in this society, there is no way you can fund your lifestyle by yourself. And government has put this solution. Credit is a fantastic solution to help you live a good lifestyle. Now, as a professional in a developing country, having been in practice or in your industry for some 10 years, you can conveniently own a property. You can. But it will be difficult here because while you can buy a property for some, let's say maybe 50 million naira in Nigeria, you might be needing some $500,000 to buy a similar property in Canada. So if you were to
That's
be
true.
left alone to do it on your own, at what point in your career do you think you'll be able to do that, honestly? After
Save up
backing
that
out
kind of
your
money to
your
take your money.
exactly. So credit is the solution to help you get
Oh.
this done. So it's not a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. Because if you want to wait until you can, excuse me, save $500,000 on your own to buy your house cash.
All right. I know, right?
Yeah,
Yes. So
that's not going
so
to be
we need we
easy.
you say be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That's why I said money
Yeah,
works differently in different places.
yeah,
So
Hmm.
you have crossed oceans,
Yeah.
drop some things, yes, and just say that okay, this new place, what works here, how is it done, and just learn. Even while growing up, when you left secondary school or high school and moved to uni, you didn't do things the way it was being done in your secondary school when you got to uni, right? So
yeah.
just roam now,
Yeah.
become a
Yeah.
Roman. It's not that difficult. You can't keep holding on to the way it was done I mean, the way they're doing it in my village or in my home country. Are you in your home country? No.
No, you're
The
not.
laws
No,
differ,
you're
not only in
not.
finance anyway. There are so many other things you're asking people to call in now about the policy and all of that. Those
Yeah,
things are non-issues where we're coming from.
yeah,
No.
that's true.
So exactly,
Okay,
you're just in
so
a different
in
place.
the course of the show, we've talked about the traps, we've talked about the misconceptions. So now we are going to talk about the opportunities. So I know that as you a new immigrant here, or maybe not necessarily a new immigrant, there are certain uh, portfolios. I don't know if the right term is portfolios of vehicles. Like the tax-free savings account for saving money that are tax-free, and so many others. So, what are these financial opportunities that immigrants can cash in on and improve their financial standing?
Okay, so when it comes to Canada, the government has put in place a number of accounts, registered accounts with government that can help you grow money. And these accounts are actually special because they have tax advantages. So some of them are tax free, some are tax sheltered. So the common one, well, let me tell you the first, the one that is almost everybody can get into like ASAP as soon as you come in, will be the tax-free savings account. So the tax-free savings account says you can put in your money that you have paid tax on, or maybe the money you brought in, end money, bottom line, you can put it into that account and the money can grow tax-free and you
Yeah.
can withdraw it tax-free at any time.
Okay.
And then there is no age limit as well to that account. So it's quite flexible. So if you want to be able to access your money with ease, but you want it to be able to grow tax free, TFSA is your friend. Now, the challenge with that is that there's a cap. So as at this year, 2023, you cannot do more than 6,500 into that account. The government keeps reviewing that year in, year out, right? Now, we have another one, which is the RESP. RESP is Registered Education Savings Plan. That's for you, it enables you to save money for your children's education. But there's also a cap, maximum of 50,000 per child. You can have it as an individual account for a child, or you can have a joint account for the family. So maybe you have 3 kids, that means you can do 150. The good thing about that is the government also gives you some bonuses in that account.
Yeah.
There's the CSGAS and all that. You can get 2,000 on one hand, you can get up to 7,500 on another, and all that. Then you have the RESP. Now, for the RESP anyway, um, because it's meant for education, that's for your kids to go to college eventually. If for any reason they do not go, you will have to, everything that you've gained on that account will have to be returned. All the contribution that government made to support, because they match your first, yes, will have to, because it's strictly for education anyway.
Education.
Education.
Yeah.
Yes. But these accounts anyway, money does not just grow in them. They're just like a container that can hold money, but you can now invest that money into bonds, ETFs, and some other things, and then the money can grow. Then we have the RRSP. Now, that one is a bit tricky. The Registered Retirement Savings Plan. RRSP looks like something that it will help you reduce your tax burden every year,
Yeah.
right? But it's just waiting for you down the line. So
Oh
RRSP
wow.
says you can put a certain percentage of your income into that account, right? And then you don't pay tax on that amount. So what it means is, assuming you were earning $1,000, RRSP says you can put maximum of 18% into that account, subject to a maximum of 30,728 or so for the year. So for ease of maths, if you were earning $1,000 and you put 18%, which is 180 in RRSP, you would only pay tax on 820 as against paying tax on 1,000.
On the whole
So people are
1,000.
delighted about it, right? Like, oh, I'll pay lower taxes, and then I've been able to 18%.
Mm-hmm.
RRSP says your money can grow tax deferred. Nobody's going to
Oh,
tax it while it's growing. But at whatever point you're going to withdraw that money, years down the line, you're going to pay the
you will pay tax.
tax on the principal and the interest. Now,
Oh wow.
where it becomes dicey, yes, where it becomes dicey is you put in your money, now you don't pay tax on it. So as a new immigrant, I tell, like, I think we should just process it together. You come in as a new immigrant, you're likely going to be in the low income bracket. So you're going to pay minimal taxes or no taxes by the time you do your return. Now you have taken part of that money and put in RRSP because you wanted to reduce taxes. And then by the time you're going to withdraw the money, maybe in some 20 years, your tax bracket is going to be a lot higher. Except you intend to be poorer anyway. If you're not going to work hard to, no, I mean, our
I
goals in
like the
life are
fact they are
different.
being
Some
practical.
people on the soft lane, please, no stress. Maybe once they are like 60 like this, they're not, they're just, everybody's plan. So if you intend to, if that's your goal, then you're fine. But if you're like me, that I'm hoping that by the time I'm
You retire
65, God,
well.
too much. You say, so your tax bracket, your tax
Mm-hmm.
bracket is going to be higher. So why do I want to avoid paying minimal tax now?
Now to
Keep
pay
my
into
money, grow it, and there are some other ways I could actually grow my money, time value of money, and now wait and now withdraw it later and pay higher tax. Excuse me, sir.
Mm.
Personally, I'm not fired up about it, but our goal are different.
That's true.
So
That's true.
yeah,
So true.
exactly.
So
Then
I'm going to
another
ask this. In chess, you have
really.
something to say before? It just seems as
Oh
if I
no,
want
no,
to ask
this has
you
just
much
been
more questions.
enlightening. Like I
Yeah,
wish
very
I'm taking
enlightening.
notes, but yeah, yeah,
Okay, so like
yeah.
a follow up to this, and
Yeah.
I don't know if you're the right person, but a friend of mine told me this, and I said anytime I meet a financial advisor, I'm going to ask.
Mm,
So like if you have a car here, you pay insurance. So
yeah.
she said that she doesn't pay monthly insurance. What she does is that money that she's supposed to pay SGI monthly, she pays it into her TSFA account and then does annual insurance payment. So by the time she's paying the money annually, the money would have produced some profit in the TSFA account. So it sounded really like a fantastic idea, but I don't know if maybe there's truth to it because we're just
The
having a casual
merits to
conversation,
it.
or if you have to go to SGI and do some kind of special arrangement to pay annually instead of monthly.
Monthly.
So do you know anything
So
about that?
when I went to SGI for mine, I was given the option of paying annually
Right.
or biannually or monthly. And immediately I punched figures.
Mhm.
It's like if I
Mm,
mean, why do I have to pay for 1 year? And I did see that yes, if I did, I was going to be making a savings. Not
Okay.
anything fantastic. I think the
Hmm.
savings were I'm not sure it's more than $50. I can't remember honestly, but max
Okay.
it wasn't up to $100. But there was
Okay.
going to be a savings. Yes.
Okay. If you pay
And
annually as opposed monthly.
yes, as
Right.
opposed
Okay.
monthly. Yeah. Now,
Interesting.
but what I don't get from her analogy is you can't pay, you can't, I mean, insurance
take
is
the money
prepaid.
from
You
your
can't pay,
TSFA.
no, I mean, you can put your money in your TFSA, right? Let's grow it and
Mhm.
now take money from there. But you can't, like, if you want to pay insurance for September, you're going to be paying it like at the beginning of September. You're not going to
Right.
pay it at the end of the year. So
September.
growing money in her TFSA is has nothing to do with paying insurance like 1 year premium. Because if you want to pay for the year, you're not going to pay it at the end of the year. Your insurance must be up to date. So if you want to
Hmm.
pay insurance for 2024, it is expected that you will pay it at the beginning of 2024, right?
Hmm. That's true.
It's not
That's true.
possible that you go and pay your car
Mhm.
insurance for 2024, December 2024. So you haven't actually grown that insurance money. You have only grown your other money. And that's
Hmm.
fine.
Hmm. Okay,
And
that
that's
makes
fine.
sense. Okay, I'm going to
Yeah.
move on to another question. So
Okay.
usually
So
this particular question is for new immigrants. So when immigrants move from home country to this homeland where we call present home now, Canada, like if you're coming from parts of Africa, there's this disparity between the currency back home and what you come to meet here. So whatever investments and whatever things you've done back home, when you bring it here, there's a kind of a shortfall. What would be your advice to new immigrants coming into the country, how to maximize several investment portfolios so that at least that money, even though there's a shortfall, if it's a lump sum, you can use it to grow into something better?
So if you're coming in to Canada, you're expected to have maybe like your pool of funds or whatever, even beyond that, whatever you have that you bring into the country. There
okay.
is one investment that people are not paying attention to, and I think the value is practically the same everywhere in the world. Now that's just me, and that's gold.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
because
Okay.
the value is the same everywhere. The Indian community, they do take advantage of this a lot, but it's not exactly very common amongst Africans, except maybe those from the northern part of Nigeria. So that's one
Mm,
thing, right? And then another thing is your mindset. Let's be factual, let's be realistic. You can't bring your naira here and expect that it will be able to do the magic it was doing at home. So when you get here, one of the things you can do is take advantage of these government accounts that have tax advantages. There is the first time home buyers account where you can put money that you can put towards. So you can put your money in this kind of account and try to maximize it. Let it go as much. So you can possibly channel it towards down payment for a home. Real estate is
Mm-hmm.
real wealth anyway,
Yeah.
and almost everybody who is here wants to own a home at the end of the day. So you can put your money to that. But if you just leave
Okay.
your money sitting, in the
Mm.
banks and all
So
of
man.
that, you're going to be getting very minimal, yes, very minimal return on it. Until you figure out what you want to do, maybe as business that you want to invest in, please try to keep your money in these other places.
Thank you
Okay.
very much.
So
Thank you. Okay,
yeah,
Chess, over to you.
yeah, yeah. So we have a question. Someone had left a message from YouTube on our YouTube page. So
All
the
right.
question is to you, Lara. It's from Rose Amon. So she was asking question about her RRSP. She said, "My understanding is that you pay lower tax when you withdraw that money at retirement. Is this true?"
What's her name again?
Rose.
Rose, please. The rate you're going to pay is a function of your income tax rate at that time. So,
Hmm.
whatever your tax bracket is at the year you're withdrawing your money, that is what you are going to pay. That's why I said if you're a low income earner now and you're
Yeah.
paying minimal taxes now and you're working hard to make more money, at that time your tax bracket may not necessarily be lower. I'm not saying it will be,
Okay.
don't quote me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it may not necessarily be lower, and in most cases it will not be if you are at the minimum right now. So the idea is that at retirement, maybe people are not making so much money, so their tax brackets will drop. But if you have put investments in place, you have real estate, you have this, they're going to have income streams from here and there. You're not necessarily going to be a low income earner at retirement. I don't think that is what immigrants are working towards anyway,
Mm-hmm.
because there's a way we are wired and the way we do things from the way the places we're coming from. And those are not part of the things we want to lose here. These are not part of the things we want to unlearn. No.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not likely going to be a low income earner at retirement. And by the way, the money you're putting in RRSP has a limit, because when you're at retirement, when you're 71, your RRSP will convert into RRIF. That's the
Yeah.
Registered Retirement Income Fund. You're not going to withdraw it directly from your RRSP. You'll be moved to RRIF. Then every year, there's an amount that you be to withdraw, because it's supposed to be a retirement income. So it's not like you're going to just pull everything out.
Yeah.
So depending on your age and depending on how much you have there, there's a way it's calculated, so you know what you can take. And if you look at the figures, there are tables for this, right? For many people, they're going to run out of fund from their RRSP years down the line during retirement. So that is why it is not wise for you to rely only on RRSP for your retirement plan. Retirement planning, it's a different ball game. You have to be very strategic about that as well. If you rely only on what you're putting in your RRSP for your retirement, I'm sorry,
May
it may
not
not
work so
sustain
far.
you, because life expectancy in Canada is 83 as at today.
That's true.
And yeah, we're hoping it gets better because it's been getting better anyway.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
one major problem that people also need to pay attention to. What if life is long and you
What if
need
life is
funds?
long?
Yeah.
Yes,
Thank
it's
you
just a
so
problem.
much for
Every
that.
one of
Sorry,
us will be suffering by that.
I'm going to interject because we still have so many questions
That's
to
why
ask you.
so much.
So this
Yeah.
particular question is regarding buying a house. So buying a house is considered one of the most profound decisions that affect our lives, and this belief is further amplified by people saying the value of house increases over time. We use money to get money. This is how to do things. So My question is this: is it a good financial decision to buy a home as an immigrant? And how do I know I am ready to own a home?
World over, real estate is real wealth. So I would say yes, it's a good financial decision to own a home. Whether it's going to be your primary place of residence or it's going to
Mhm.
be a rental home, it's good to have real estate holdings anywhere. Anyway, get a slice of it.
Yeah.
Get a slice of it. So as a new immigrant, you need to also pace yourself. I keep stressing that. Pace yourself. How to know whether you're ready to buy a home? You must have enough to take care of your down payment, to take care of the other expenses surrounding buying a home. You're going to pay mortgage fees, you're going to pay insurance fees, all of those things. You must be sure that you have that,
Mhm.
right? Of course, your credit score and everything. You must have an approval in place and all of that. Beyond that, financially, you should also have your 3 to 6 months rent available as an emergency savings, emergency fund that you can fall back on. Actually, at any point in time, everyone should strive to have this in liquid savings, because if an emergency was to come up or anything, you should have something to fall back on. Because you don't want to put money down for a house and then after that you can't even get gas to go to, and all of that. You don't
Mhm.
want to put yourself under all of those kind of strain. It's totally unnecessary. You can just wait some 3, 6 months, 1 year more, and you will be
Mhm.
fine. And permit me to add, I see something that is a bit worrisome amongst immigrants. This rape to buy a brand new home. Who did that to us? Who did that to us? You're not in a race against anybody, you're not in a competition. You can buy a home that is not brand new for far less, and you save yourself a lot of pressure and a lot of trouble until you can do a brand new home, because it's much more
Because you
affordable. You can save some $100,000. You mustn't
Yeah.
buy a full family house that is 3, 4 bedroom. You can start with a 2 bedroom condo
Mhm.
and you're fine. You're a homeowner, you're living there.
I have a
Your
question.
mortgage will be lower. You save at the end of the day. You see, if you bite too much at the beginning, you're going to be so stressed, and then somebody else that is taking their time and planning in another 7 years. When you compare the two, you see who has been smarter.
Mm.
Oh, you know, sorry, I have a question, Lara. I'm not interrupting. It's just to buttress what you're
It's fine.
saying, right? It's a question that is still. It's just it's like, because I saw someone that was saying like, they came and they bought a house after like 10 months, or they bought a house after like 12 months. There is that pressure, especially we as immigrants. You see another immigrant saying that, oh, they bought a house after like 8 months or 10 months or 12 months or maybe less. It puts you under pressure, and you're like, oh, what is this person doing right that I'm not doing? What financial information do they have that you don't know? So the pressure is much. So is it advisable, as a new immigrant? I mean, you've said that buying into real estate is a good idea, but is it advisable as a new immigrant to try and do this as quickly as you come, seeing that other people are doing it in less than, you know a few years? Is it advisable? Is it something that you need to just start planning towards and start pushing towards to do? You want to own a home, or is it okay to take time, you know and learn?
It's okay to plan towards it, but it's very good to take your time so you don't run into trouble and you don't run into mistakes.
Mm.
I have some extreme things I say to myself when I'm pressured. If I see people doing certain things and it looks like I'm not able to, and I ask myself, if this person dropped dead, will I want to? And it just gives me peace.
Gives you
I
clarity.
don't have to have something because yes, exactly. So Take your time, plan towards it. Don't be irresponsible in any way. That's not the message, right? But take
Mm-hmm.
your time and do it right. And do right by yourself. Don't put yourself under unnecessary strain. That's just it.
Okay, so by extension, I'm going to add to that. So how does buying a house
The house.
compare to investing in the S&P 500 or Canadian stock market? Because that's another investment option.
Yeah. So this just brings us to diversifying your investment, right? Give a portion to 7 or to 8 because you don't know what ill may come upon the land. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, bottom line. I see this as parallel investments. They're not, they're all investments, right? But the modalities, the requirements, they're different. Real estate requires a lot of capital. You don't need so much to start to invest in stock. With your $100 a month, you can start to get something, right? So you can start with that. That's like the base because before you're able to gather what you need to go into real estate, if you were just waiting for that before you start to do anything, then you will not do anything in a long time.
Like
In
a
fact,
long time.
you can invest in S&P and all of that to even grow the money that you want to put into real estate. So by all means, it's important to have both. It's important to
Mm.
have both. But many people who are able to get into stock are not yet able to get into real estate because of the capital that is involved. But they're both very good and they're very viable investments to
Okay.
get in.
Okay, so I have another
May I add
question.
as well,
Oh,
Isom, please, may
sorry,
I
I
add
keep
as well?
interrupting. I'm sorry. It's just that for
No,
time's
that's
sake, we
fine.
want to get as much as we can
Yes, you said
from
this
you.
real
So I'll
estate
let
thing
you
and
land and then I'll
yeah,
ask
yeah.
my question.
Okay, this real estate thing and the pressure it brings. Another thing is people should stop being emotional about investments, especially when it comes to home ownership. Just be it's a business. If you can't afford a house yet, but you have some money you can use for down payment, look out for pre-constructions and key into it. And by the time they're done with the construction, you can offload. You don't have to take the mortgage to you get. You can offload.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And you can make some 10, 20, $30,000 and you move on. Don't hold the property to your chest. It's a game. Making money is a game. Play it. Don't
Played.
take it to heart. Yeah.
Like that. Making money is a game.
Hmm.
Played.
It is.
Okay,
So you
so
can do a real estate without owning a home.
I
Mm-hmm.
remember during the course, one of the times you were answering a question, you talked about gold and the fact that the Indians they make investment. It's not something that we Africans do very extensively. So, what role
Yeah.
does cultural background play in shaping immigrants' attitude and behavior towards money?
Because
And how can we strike a balance between cultural values and financial decision? I'm going to give a very comical example. Now,
Okay.
when I came to Canada, I found out that people would give birth to a child and open a trust fund for that child, and that trust fund can run for the next 60 or even more years. But we have this thing where we do things on the long term, but we kind of seem to have everything in a 10-year gap where we are like, we don't know when Jesus will come. Let's not overextend it. So let it not be by my money is in the bank and Jesus comes.
and Jesus will
Jesus brings
come.
the money to heaven. I get to send money in heaven.
So, what role does cultural background play in shaping immigrants? I'm so sorry that I use that. I just need to be practical. So,
Yeah.
what role does it play, please?
I'm laughing so hard because my first daughter said that to her mom. The mother was telling her to go study. She's like, Jesus is coming to school. Why do I have to read? Anyway, so cultural back that it plays a major role. It plays a major role. Well, who we are as a function of, it's been a function of all we have experienced, the way we grew up, and all of that. So yes, that has impacted us greatly. And you
Mm-hmm.
only do as much as you know, right? So
Yeah.
now that you're in a new place, it's very important to have an open mind. It's very important to network, because if you don't interact with people, you would not know what's up in some other quarters.
Right.
So, yeah. And the good
Mm,
thing is, everywhere you go, and for every interaction you have, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. Just see if it's pick what works for you. Pick the good ones, and they're good. They're good things to learn from different people, from different cultures, here and there. So, what's the very important thing is have an open mind and be on the lookout for solutions. Be on the lookout for how to better your life, how to better your finances. You don't have to jump at it. Weigh these things, you know, do further research, no matter what anybody is saying to you, and then you can try it out. And at the end of the day, you settle for what works.
Okay, thank you so much. I know during the course of this conversation we touched a bit on taxation here and there, but I want to ask you to talk to us about taxation and its implication. Like you said something earlier on, that the woman that is doing a side hustle of selling, maybe she's cooking or into
food.
pastry
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. Now, if you have a structured work, those taxes are taken off from your pay before it even comes
Yes.
to you. So for the person that is doing the side hustle, do you now kind of find a way to pay this taxation, or how does this whole thing work? So that when it's time to file your taxes annually, you don't find yourself in a tight spot.
One
Can you
thing.
talk to us about taxation and its implications?
Okay, so every working citizen or resident is expected to pay taxes, right? Taxes are compulsory, levied by government. That's what they use in running the society. So, of course, as an employee, your taxes are taken from source. You don't have any control over that. The only one where you can control your taxes if you're a business person, right? Because now you are the employer of yourself, so you be the one to report and file your taxes, like I pointed out earlier. Now, one thing we need to know is that if you have both, it can help you reduce your expenses, right? Because
Yeah.
of all those things that you're able to back out. So it's very important to have your documentation, your receipts. You have to keep a lot of records and all of
Yeah.
that for you to be able to. Now, this strategy is actually helping you to avoid taxes. And avoiding taxes is legal.
Okay.
You can avoid taxes, but don't evade taxes. So there
What's
are
the difference? So you
strategies.
said avoid
What
and
is
evade.
yeah?
So
So what's
what's
the
the difference?
difference?
Can you really paint it
So,
properly?
first of all, disclaimer: I'm not a tax consultant, right?
Okay. Okay.
My financial advisory service. I'm not licensed to file your taxes for you, but I do know a
Right.
lot about these things. So you can also double check what I'm saying. So you can avoid taxes, but you are not to evade taxes. Avoiding taxes is using strategies and laws put in place by the government to help you reduce your tax or free you from paying tax in some instances.
Hmm.
Okay.
So, yeah, one fantastic um, way of saving on taxes in the long run, it's by having a life insurance policy that has cash values.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
there, it's by law. Life policy, it has cash, but because there are different types of life insurance. If you get the one that has cash value, it can help you assess money down the line. You can use it to get a loan that is backed by your life policy, and that money comes to you tax free. So those are strategies
Okay.
proven, yes, that have been used from decade after it's been there forever, and then you're fine. So you need to learn all of these things and be able to implement them so that you can be financially successful. Because if you were to tax every money that you make that comes to you, I'm sorry, you're CRA's best friend, and we all love you. Thank you for being together, coach.
Okay, so it's been a very insightful edition. We've learned
Very
so
learning.
much. She has given specific answers to every question. I can't help but thank you a lot. for all that you have
Oh,
said, you know, and the information that you have given to our viewers. So we're going to wrap up the show, but before I allow our guests and my co-hosts say their final words, I want to add there's so much to talk about, and I know people are dropping comments. So if you want to know more about finance and get proper advice on how to handle your finances, and you want to reach out more to our guest speaker, you can drop a comment on our social media handles, and then we'll connect you to her and you can learn more on how to channel your lifestyle so that you are financially balanced. Okay, so I'm going to go to you, Lara, for your final word, and then I'll come over to Inches for final word, and then we'll wrap up the show. Over to you, Lara. Final words.
thank you. So it's been an interesting time. I can't even believe we spent over an
Yeah.
hour. The conversations have been so much, it's been very interesting. So, I would like to say that for everyone who is new in Canada, please take it easy on yourself. You will do well. Just be very strategic, have a plan in place, take advantage of support programs that are available to you so that you can, get some freebies here and there. If you need to get back to school, you have student loan that will not stress you and all of those things. There are even loans for professionals as well that can help you get back into your field at very low interest rates. So don't let anybody pressure you. Don't pressure yourself either. Be very deliberate about your finances. I'm a licensed financial advisor. If you do need help with financial planning, retirement planning, life insurance, how to access tax-free retirement income, and all of those things, feel free to reach out to me. I want to believe Isa will have my details in the description box, so you can reach
Yes.
me from there, or you can call me. My number is 306-241-0561, and I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you for watching. I hope this has been very insightful for you. Thank you for joining us again.
Thank
Isa,
you
thank you
so
for
much,
having me.
Lara. Thank you. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. Over to
Thank
you
you.
in chess.
First, I want to start by saying thank you, Lara. The stuff I've learned today, I didn't even know about. But my take home so far is that as a new immigrant, we start easy. You take your time, like you said earlier, you plan. And I think one of my biggest takeaway is to be very intentional. Like, you really need to budget, plan your money and budget.
I say
So
that
for me,
again.
this is my takeaway from today's show. Thank you so much, Lara. Very insightful conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone that tuned in, our viewers. Thank you for the questions. I know more is going to come. Thank you to our guest speaker. Thank you in chairs. We are very grateful to our producers for making us look seamless, for making us look beautiful. Thank you. But before we go, we want to give a big shout out to M&C Foods. She had her 40th birthday yesterday. From the melting pot, we want to welcome you to the fourth floor and pray that
Happy
God gives you
birthday.
long life and prosperity. So,
Victor.
next
Amen.
time, next place, don't miss the show. You know how we do it. We discuss, we rub minds, we laugh, we learn. That's what the Mental Pot Show is for. From us here is bye for now. And always remember, life is for the
Life
living.
is for the living.
Bye.
Can
See you
say
on the
that
next
again.
one.
Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you very much, Lara. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you. Cheers. Bye.
Yeah.
So.
Bye.